Welcome back to Bite-Sized Sermons. I'm your host, Erin Patrick, and today we're diving into one of the most provocative and transformative parables told by Jesus, the parable of the Good Samaritan. If you've ever wondered how a simple story can challenge your entire worldview, you're in for a treat. This isn't just any story. It's a radical call to rethink how we define and live out neighborly love. How does this ancient story resonate with us today? And what does it really mean to be a neighbor? Stick around because the answers just might surprise you. You've probably heard the story of the Good Samaritan before, but have you ever really stopped to think about its deeper meaning? Jesus tells this parable in response to a question that's just as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. Who is my neighbor? To begin, let's set the scene. Picture this: a dusty, treacherous road winding from Jerusalem to Jericho, notorious for its danger. Imagine a man traveling this road only to be ambushed by ruthless robbers. They beat him, strip him of his belongings, and leave him half dead. Now think of the fear and desperation this man must feel, knowing that help is distant and uncertain. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine you're the man lying on the side of the road. You're in desperate need of help. Who would you expect to come to your aid? Who would you be surprised to see? Let me know your thoughts. Along comes a priest. He sees the wounded man, and instead of offering aid, he crosses to the other side of the road. Next, a Levite, another religious figure, does the same. Both men, who are supposed to be paragons of virtue, choose to avoid the suffering stranger. Why do you think they acted this way? What would you have done in their place? Then enter the Samaritan. To fully appreciate this twist, you need to understand the context. Jews and Samaritans were bitter enemies. The animosity ran deep, rooted in historical and religious conflicts. For a Samaritan to be the hero of this story was nothing short of shocking. Jesus was making a profound statement about the nature of love and neighborliness. The Samaritan sees the injured man, and what does he do? He is moved with compassion. He approaches, treats the man's wounds, and then takes him to an inn, covering all his expenses. Imagine the impact of such an act of kindness from someone considered an enemy. How does this change your view of who our neighbors might be? What does it mean to receive help from someone you were taught to see as an enemy? And how does this change your perception of who can be our neighbor? The Samaritan's actions go beyond mere duty. He embodies a form of love and compassion that transcends ethnic and religious boundaries. Imagine the impact of a Samaritan, someone viewed as an enemy, showing more compassion than those who were considered religious leaders. This story flips societal norms on their head. Now consider how these historical rivalries mirror our own biases today. Are there groups or individuals we might view as outcasts that we should extend compassion towards? Next, let's break down the Samaritan's actions. He doesn't just stop. He takes personal responsibility. He binds the man's wounds with oil and wine, puts him on his own donkey, and pays for his care at an inn. This level of sacrifice is extraordinary and speaks volumes about what it means to truly love our neighbor. The parable challenges us to reflect on how we define neighborly love. It's not about proximity or shared identity, but about compassion and action. The Samaritan's response embodies the essence of selfless love. In a world where vengeance and retribution were the norms, Jesus' story was a radical departure. It wasn't just about personal morality. It was a critique of societal norms and injustices. Jesus' call to love your neighbor was an invitation to transcend these entrenched divisions and build a more compassionate society. So, how does this historical context influence your understanding of the parable? Can you think of a modern-day Samaritan who challenges our societal norms? Maybe it's someone from a different political party, a different race, or a different religion. How often do we pass judgment on others without truly understanding their circumstances. Think about it for a moment. Who are the people in your life that you find it hardest to love? Why is that? Share your thoughts with me. To bring this teaching into modern times, let's look at some inspiring modern examples. Mother Teresa devoted her life to serving the most destitute in Calcutta. Despite facing harsh conditions and limited resources, she embraced the outcasts of society with unwavering love. Her selfless acts of love and compassion transformed countless lives and inspired a global movement of charitable work. Her life was a testament to the Samaritans' compassion. And then there's Fred Rogers, known for his TV show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Rogers was a beacon of kindness and understanding, reaching out to children from all backgrounds with his messages, teaching kindness, love, and acceptance. He often addressed difficult topics with gentle wisdom and encouraged his audience to look for the helpers in times of trouble. His legacy is a testament to the power of love and compassion in building strong, inclusive communities. His commitment to treating everyone with dignity mirrors the Samaritan's actions. Can you think of a time when you saw someone act as a helper in a difficult situation? How did that impact you or others around you? Now let's delve deeper into the meaning behind Jesus' teaching. The command to love our neighbors isn't just a nice idea. It's a radical call to action that has the power to change the world. Theological scholars suggest that the parable of the Good Samaritan was not just about individual acts of kindness, but a critique of social norms and structures that perpetuate division and exclusion. By elevating the Samaritan as the hero, Jesus was challenging the status quo and urging his followers to embrace a more inclusive and compassionate worldview. It was radical not only because it was countercultural, but also because it challenged deeply entrenched societal norms. This parable teaches us that true neighborly love requires us to go beyond our comfort zones, to see the humanity in everyone, and to act with empathy and compassion. It's about breaking down the walls that divide us and building bridges of understanding and love. Think about a time when you felt excluded or misunderstood. Can you remember how that felt? Now imagine the impact you could have if you reached out to someone else in that same situation with kindness and compassion. What difference could you make in their life? Let's discuss how this parable challenges us to rethink our approach to neighborliness. It's easy to love those who are like us, or who are easy to get along with. The true challenge lies in extending love to those who are different from us, or even those who might have wronged us. Jesus' parable calls us to go beyond our comfort zones and to actively engage in acts of love and kindness, regardless of societal boundaries. It's a call to action that transforms our understanding of what it means to be a good neighbor. Consider this. How can you step out of your comfort zone to show love to someone who may not fit into your usual circle of compassion? What steps can you take today to break down barriers and extend kindness to those you find difficult? Reflect on how embracing this teaching could transform your relationships and community. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the parable of the Good Samaritan. I hope today's discussion has inspired you to redefine your understanding of neighborliness and compassion. If you have any thoughts or questions, I'd love to hear from you. Follow us on social media for updates and additional content. And if you're interested in being a guest on a future episode, you can contact me at my business email, that'snotwhatjesussaid@gmail.com. Until next time, remember to love beyond boundaries and truly live out the teachings of Jesus. I'm Erin Patrick, and this has been Bite-Sized Sermons.